When we think about ancient civilizations, it is easy to focus on laws, rulers, and armies as the foundations of social order. But belief systems were just as important. In ancient Greece, mythology was not simply entertainment or religious tradition. It shaped how people understood authority, power, and their place in the world. Greek gods were not portrayed as morally perfect beings. Instead, they were powerful, flawed, and often contradictory. Because of this, they functioned as idols rather than moral role models. In this video, we examine Zeus and Hades to understand how Greek society could worship its gods while also mocking them, and how this unusual relationship influenced social behavior and attitudes towards authority. Greek mythology did not focus on teaching people how they should behave in an ideal world. Instead, it reflected on how power actually worked. Zeus and Hades ruled different realms, but together they represented two major forms of authority that shaped Greek civilization: political power and existential power. Zeus, the king of the gods, was the most prominent figure in Greek religion. He was widely worshipped across the Greek world, with major sanctuaries such as Olympia and Dodona dedicated to him. Zeus was closely associated with law, justice, and political authority. His name was invoked in oaths and public rituals, linking divine power directly to civic life. At the same time, Zeus was famously inconsistent. One of the clearest examples of this appears in the myth of Prometheus. Prometheus gives fire to humanity, an act that allows humans to develop skills, technology, and civilization itself. Zeus responds by punishing Prometheus severely, chaining him and subjecting him to endless suffering. While Zeus presents this punishment as the defense of order, the myth also reveals his fear of losing control. Greek audiences were aware of this contradiction. Zeus punishes Prometheus for helping humans, yet Zeus himself often breaks rules when it benefits him. His authority demands obedience, but it does not guarantee fairness. Zeus, as an idol, represented leadership that was powerful and dominant, but also self-serving and unreliable. This portrayal had an important effect on society. Greek people did not expect leaders to be morally perfect. Instead, authority was understood as something that could be respected without being trusted. By projecting flawed leadership onto Zeus, mythology helped normalize political inequality and inconsistent justice in the human world. Hades represented a very different kind of authority. As the ruler of the underworld, he governed death, a force that no one could escape. Unlike Zeus, Hades had relatively few temples and was rarely celebrated. This reflected the Greek discomfort with death rather than a lack of respect for his power. His authority was absolute, because every human eventually entered his realm. Hades was feared more than admired, and this fear was shaped largely by the story of Persephone. In this myth, Hades takes Persephone into the underworld, an event often understood as an abduction. This story associated Hades with loss and separation, reinforcing his dark and unsettling image. At the same time, the myth explained the cycle of the seasons. Persephone's absence marked winter and her return marked spring. Despite this reputation, Hades was portrayed as stable and restrained. He rarely interfered in the world of the living and did not rule through constant manipulation. Unlike Zeus, his authority did not shift based on desire or favoritism. He simply ruled his domain. As an idol, Hades symbolized inevitability. The Persephone myth helped Greek society accept realities that could not be changed, such as death, loss, and natural cycles. Mortality was not framed as a moral reward or punishment, but as a fixed condition of life. One of the most distinctive features of Greek civilization was its ability to criticize its god while continuing to worship them. Greek comedies openly mocked Zeus and other gods, portraying them as selfish or foolish. Tragedies questioned divine justice and showed humans suffering under unfair power. Belief did not require silence or blind loyalty. This balance between worship and mockery shaped social behavior. The punishment of Prometheus warned against challenging authority, while the story of Hades and Persephone helped explain unavoidable limits. Together, these myths taught people how to live under power rather than idealize it. Political authority was seen as unstable and negotiable, while existential authority was final and unchangeable. In conclusion, Zeus and Hades were not moral guides or heroic ideals. They were idols that reflected how ancient Greek understood power. Zeus represented authority that protected itself, even when unjust. Hades represented authority that could not be avoided. Through the worship and mockery, Greek mythology shaped a society that respected power while remaining aware of its flaws. Greek mythology did not teach people how to admire power. It taught them how to live under it.